middle school math program. It's great to see so many parents here. Hope it wasn't too difficult getting on campus. This afternoon, I'm going to hand over to the math department in a second. I think I've met many of you. My name is Anthony and I'm the middle school vice principal. We want to take this time to share some information. At the end, there'll be an opportunity to ask some general questions. We're also going to tape the session, so if you wanted to go back and watch it again, or if you have friends that couldn't be here today, it'll be put on the GISnet for them. Okay? All right, I'd like to hand over to Ali Nay. She is the math department chair, and she'll kick us off.
Welcome. It's nice to see you all here today. At some point during our presentation, you'll get to hear from all of the math teachers. There are 8 of us in the middle school math department. But I'd like to start by welcoming you. And just to kind of give you an overview of what we'll be talking about today. So there are 4 main topics that we will share with you. The first is, why do we use tiered instruction in our classes and challenge by choice? You may have heard some of those phrases or not, so we'll hopefully get those explained to you when we answer what they are. How does this work in our classrooms, and what might a classroom look like, or what might the teaching of these topics look like? And finally, how can you support your child at home? So those will be the 4 main topics that we talk about today. So to talk about why we use tiered instruction and challenge by choice in the classroom, we have this learning paradigm at GIS. And if you look at the Pentagon going around, it talks about the 5 main things that we try to provide for students to create the best classroom or the best learning experiences as possible. So we like to provide our students with choice. We like to provide our students experiences that are connected to what they're learning, empowerment, personalize the learning, and finally, make it relevant. And this is what we keep in mind as teachers when we're preparing lessons for our class or the learning that we want to occur. And finally, can you go back? In the middle, you'll see what we refer to as the learning dispositions. And that there are 4 learning dispositions that we are constantly embedding in our classes every day when they make good connections. You may have heard the students talk about the 4 R's. Sometimes they refer to it as that. So resourcefulness, resilience, relating, and reflectiveness. This is hopefully what the students develop on their own through our guidance. And this is, if they are confident in these areas, then they bring that to their learning and can make better connections and be a better learner in the classroom. So that's kind of our learning paradigm at GIS and what we hope to achieve in our classrooms. Okay, so why do we do this? Each year we give some of the students coming in a kind of a readiness test to see where they're at. And these are the results of a 7th grade test done at the beginning of the year. It's out of 50 points, and so these bars represent how many students score within these ranges. So basically what this is saying is our students perform in so many different places that we are trying to accommodate all of their needs depending on where they come to us in their ability in math. And so this shows us that we really need to be meeting the needs of quite a range of students. We also know that there's been some research done, and I'm just going to read these to you. You can read them if you'd like. But there's research that says if you have advanced learners, teaching at a brisk pace is good. Because gifted students are more likely to retain science and math content accurately when they're taught 2 to 3 times faster than the normal class pace. That's some research that's been done, so we want to incorporate that in our classrooms. Additionally, we like to support our slower paced learners. So we try to provide them enough time. They need to sort through a concept sub-learning to develop a better understanding of what they're learning. And so we do try to pace our classes for all of our learners as well. So if we put all of that together, our goal as a math department is to challenge each student to reach their full potential, which, as you know, everybody has a different potential that they could possibly be reaching. And while we're doing that, we're trying to develop a self-awareness, a self-confidence, and self-discipline within each of our students as well. And that's done through the learning dispositions and providing activities that will allow them to do those. And that will give them more ownership for their learning. So I'll turn it over to somebody else that will explain what these words actually mean.
Hi, I'm Gretchen Curtis, and I'm teaching grade 6 math as well as science here in middle school. So I'm going to go over a little bit about what is tiered instruction and challenge by choice, because we use these two words together to describe a math program here. Okay, so the tiered instruction is really coming from the role of the teacher, right? It's a way of teaching one concept and meeting the different learning needs of a group. I'm going to read this quote to you because we feel this really illustrates a lot about why we use tiered instruction. Tiering is a readiness-based instructional approach. Tiering enables a student to work both with the critical content and at an appropriate challenge level. Going into what the challenge by choice is, that's really more of the culture that we create in the classroom the students are actively part of. It shifts the ownership of the learning onto the students. So students actually making the choice themselves about what challenge level they want to learn at and want to be assessed at. Teachers, of course, guide and encourage students, especially in the beginning of the year. There's a lot of guidance given in the classroom and feedback given to students to help them make sure they're making the right choice. Okay, so this diagram here is from an education guru, Marzano, and we're actually going to look at it from the right to the left. So if we look at effective curriculum design, that's the tiered assessment. That's what we're teaching. Those are the targets that we set up for students at various levels. And then we have the effective instructional strategies, and that's how we're teaching to students at these varying levels. And then moving all the way to the left is the effective classroom management. The culture we're creating in the classroom, helping students to make good choices about the challenge level. All of these three things, Marzano's research shows, are the things that we have control over that lead to the effective teaching. And I'll pass this to...
Hi, I'm Kim Goodace. I teach 8th grade math. I'm going to talk a little bit about what our expectations are for the 3 color levels, which you may know already are green is the standard level, blue is the advanced, and black is the highly advanced level. So with green level, we want to be clear that this is standard, but it's extremely rigorous. Across 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, if the child is at green level, they can go to any other high-level international school or private school and be right on track or even ahead. This isn't dumbed down. This isn't the easy version. It's a very rigorous standard level. And when I taught at other schools, this is exactly what I taught. So the first thing we need to be clear is that. With green, what it requires is the kids are hardworking, that they use the 4 R's. They reflect on their learning, they learn from their mistakes, all the things you would expect from any learner. We do expect some creative problem solving, and we expect them to become good problem solvers. Thank you. For blue level, sometimes I compare these problems to when you get to that last problem in the book that only 3 or 4 kids might be able to get. That's a whole assignment at blue level. They have to be much more creative in their problem solving. They have to draw on previous knowledge and synthesize a little bit more to understand the problems. Sometimes there's higher level concepts or even separate concepts that green won't be doing because it's not part of the standard level curriculum. We support them in that learning, but sometimes we also expect them to be independent learners and try to figure it out for themselves, because that's a strategy that's going to serve them well in high school and beyond. And so they need a better sense of independence and really to be more creative. Black level, these problems, as it says there, are extremely advanced, extremely complex. We have a very small percentage of students who really do black level. And it really takes drawing on a lot of previous knowledge. They might have to draw on several sections, and they may even have to look at something and say, I don't know this, and really be independent to take some initiative and either ask the right questions or go do a little research and figure it out. Once again, we do what we can to support them in the classroom, and we try to teach at all the levels. But it requires a really, really high level of complex problem solving and real creativity. I mean, real creativity. So understand it's not just the level of difficulty of the material, but actually the expectations on the student. Sometimes people work green and they say, I really want to work blue. And we encourage them to do that, even if it's for one problem or one assignment or one test question. But sometimes they don't understand the difference. And so we really try to explain it to them that you've really got to up your game if you're going to go to the next level. And, we try to help them with that. So.
Thanks. I'm Dave Suarez. I teach 8th grade with Connecticut Days this morning. So the 3 levels, what we're trying to do, I think these quotes speak to that. We want all kids to feel a sense of enjoyment and pride in math class. So we agree with the statement that enjoyment appears at that boundary between boredom for lack of challenge and anxiety for too great a challenge. And we also believe that we want all kids struggling to learn in our classes. Productive struggle, positive struggle, but we do want every kid to have that experience, and that's part of giving the green, blue, and black. If we didn't have those 3 color levels and those 3 levels of challenge, I'm not sure how we would do that. So it's really helpful. This group is incredibly professional. This is the most professional group of teachers I've ever worked with. And we're constantly seeking to better understand how what we're doing is serving kids and how we can do better, how continue with what we're doing well. So we've collected some data, done extensive interviews. We want to share some of that with you right now. This is a bit confusing, okay? So what this is we asked the kids to reflect on how challenging their work felt for them. So, over here, students who selected, this is the way you read this, students who selected green, and then at the top reported that the assessment was either too simple or appropriate or too challenging as a destination for their learning. So when they take an assessment, we ask them, okay, think about that assessment, think about how you felt when you arrived to this unit or this lesson, and how did the assessment feel in terms of challenging you? Well, kids who selected green, all the colors, but kids who selected green, 80% said it was appropriate, 6% said too challenging, 15% said too simple. And this was a lot of cases. This is the number of reflections we collected the data on. And anyway, we were happy to see that about 80% of kids in all cases were reporting that the assessment felt challenging in an appropriate kind of way. And then the nice thing is there's the opportunity to adjust. So if kids, say, chose blue and they reported that it was too simple, one of our roles as a teacher is to guide, encourage, coach kids. So we probably have a conversation and suggest, well, if it was too simple, do you want to try doing black next time or do some black work? And on the other hand, if it was too challenging, they can adjust and work on the green level. And so within only the 2 boxes that were the most concerning were these yellow ones, where kids who reported doing black felt it was still too simple, which was just extraordinary, okay? or kids who did green and said it still felt like just too great of a challenge for them. Now keep in mind, this wouldn't be a child consistently saying this, so this felt great. So basically, these reflections were saying to us, okay, in all cases, if we look at all the data, only 4% of times where kids reflected on how challenging the assessment was, did they reflect in a way where the challenge that was being provided to them was the challenges provided were outside of a zone that would accommodate their needs. But chances are for these kids who said the black on a case in a particular situation was too simple, maybe the next time it wasn't. And same with green. So we felt pretty good about this data. Okay. A lot of people ask, like, okay, well, how does my kid compare with others, or what do the kids tend to choose? This shows choices. This is over 13,000 choices, so there's a lot of data. And so the vast majority of kids choose green. Work at the green level is what we would expect, since the green level is that rigorous grade level standard. So about 65% working at green, about 25% at blue, and just under 10% of the kids, 5 to 10% working black. What else up here? Also, we're happy to see some kids love a certain color. I'm going to do blue all the time, or I'm going to do green all the time, or it's a rare child that can do black all the time. But anyway, it's nice to see that a lot of kids take advantage of the different choices. So for homework, about 3/4 reported that they had tried more than one of the levels, while 1/4 had that favorite they always worked on. On tests, the amount of difference wasn't as great. I'm not surprised. Okay, kids are more likely to take risks and try different things on homework than they are on tests, but still half the kids try different colors. So yeah, that's some data. We also, a couple years ago, we wanted to just have conversations with the kids and ask them lots of questions. We asked them questions like, what impact does this program have on your learning? What do you like about it? What do you not like about it? What advice do you have for teachers on how we can do better? What advice do you have for parents on how they can support you? All kinds of questions. There were things for us to both celebrate and things for us to think really hard about and how we can work to improve the experience. So we're going to show you a few of those clips now.
The blue and the black, if you wanted to go further, learn a little extra, if the green was too easy. But I also liked how you always had the green as sort of a safety net, If blue or black was too rough for you, you just drop back down to green, and green was solid. You could rely on green.
When I'm doing a math test, I'm actually challenged. In fact, I just came out from a math test, and it was hard because I'm doing work that's at my level. I have to learn it. I can't just ignore it and just say, oh, I know it. Like I did in some of my old schools.
I liked how we could pick for different units, we could pick different choices. Like, if I wasn't good at one unit, I could pick green, and if I was doing well on another unit, I could pick blue. So it gave me more, I felt like it gave me more choice, made me feel better in different units.
Occasionally, I think the blue and black students wouldn't get enough focus, but like the green students would get a lot of the focus, and that's good because that is the standard grade. That is good. But occasionally, as a blue student, I found not getting quite enough.
It's like the green blue black level was sometimes really confusing because even though it opened challenges for me, it was also a confusion for me because I had to kind of decide on my own what level am I in, what do I have to do to improve myself or challenge myself.
Well, I think that some of the higher level students might not get as much time with the teacher as the students learning the standard level math. So that's probably one of the things that is.
Do you wish you had more time with the teacher?
Yeah.
usually most schools have a normal math course and an advanced math course instead of the 3 levels. But for instance, I've been taking Blue, the advanced level this year, except one of the units, the Blue, was too hard for me. And if it was just an advanced math course, I would have failed that unit. But instead, I could have gone down another level.
Kids come from different areas all around the world, and from different schools, they might have already taught them what we're learning now. So it's really a waste for kids to be sitting in class all year long and knowing what their teacher is teaching them, where in a 3-level math system, you get to cover what you're learning, but in a more challenging way.
All right, Ms. Barnacle is going to talk about what it looks like.
Hi, my name is Tricia Barnacle, and I teach 7th and 8th grade mathematics. I just want to talk to you a little bit about what it's like for teachers, the kinds of things we prepare for, and just in general how our classrooms are structured. So there's 8 of us teaching that. I do want to let you know that this is sort of also our own style of teaching as well. We all make a point to teach to the concept of everything. So we ensure that all students will walk away with the same skills, no matter what. Even at the standard level, we want to make sure that all kids will exit that unit having the skills that we set forth. The challenge by choice gives them the opportunity to choose the depth that they go into. As teachers, we need to provide that too. We want to provide them the opportunities. Some students come to us already knowing a specific unit much better than others. So for them, they might choose to go and work on the blue and work on the black levels perhaps. Whereas other students or other times that same student will need more instruction. So we want to carry forward the ideas within the same classroom or the same grade. We want all the kids to exit the grade level having certain skills. But if you come in with those skills already, we just want to enhance those. We want to take children further than they thought that they could go. We want to give kids opportunities to extend their learning, extend their knowledge. We want to keep them engaged in the classroom. And one way of doing that is giving them the choice to do it, as well as providing them opportunities. One benefit in having the challenge by choice is that the kids do have a safety net. They can know that they can attempt a blue level question, even on a test, perhaps. But especially for homework, they can attempt to do the blue. The blues are not secret. They're open to the kids. The kids get to see them. And as we maybe progress through a lesson, and if the lesson is the introduction of a concept, all students have the opportunity to follow along and go along with the green levels, learning the concept, making sure that they feel secure in it before moving on to the blue level and the black level questions as well. The blue level and black level questions are open to the students, so they get to see what the next level looks like, and it's less risk. You know, they don't have to always then put themselves in the blue level class where they might fail. And so if that wasn't a choice for them to maybe start at green and have the opportunity to work forward, they may always stay on level green. But by seeing other students around them work right next to them, maybe on a blue level question, they have the opportunity to kind of peek in and see what kinds of things the child is doing next to them. Or they can just take a look at the questions of the day and see the blue level questions and the black level questions to decide for themselves if they feel and if they want to do it, and if they feel like they can succeed with it. Because they can always go back to green. The levels are very fluid. It can move back and forth between green to blue to black and all the way back. And this is just an example. So you see the learning goal of the day, students writing ratios and ratios. And you can see the problem set forth that would be different. It's the same concept, it's just a level of extension required of the student depending on what level their students. Oh, go ahead. Take some time. See if you can notice the difference of what's required of the students.
Dave Stutz teach 6th grade math. And just as the CBC, the thing that was on there when the kids were giving their testimonials, the Challenge by Choice program, gives teachers a very different level of responsibility in the classroom, because now we're looking at 3 different levels of teaching. It also puts on the students some different levels of responsibility, very different from what you might encounter at a different school or under another system. Obviously, the idea is that all of our students will be learning at the standard level. Some of the children will be able to challenge themselves to work at a higher level. And so part of that responsibility then falls on them to determine what the best level for them is. They do have to look at problems and resources from all different levels. Whether you're working blue, green, or black, you're expected to kind of get a feel from the other problems as to what students in the other levels are doing. And if that's a topic that you might be better suited working at a higher or a lower level. You need to determine the appropriate level based on your own understanding. And this is what Tricia was talking about just a second ago in terms of these levels being fluid. From day to day, lesson to lesson, topic to topic, a student might find that what we are studying one day might be something he or she can do at an extremely advanced level. The next day, they might need to be working at the standard level. There are so many different topic areas that the kids have had experiences with and that they're just being exposed to for the first time that we really don't slot children into a level and say, you have to do green, you have to do blue, you have to do black, because we recognize that it will change for each student on a very consistent basis. So the idea is that the students, through their work with their peers, with their teachers, with the workbooks, with the problem sets, with the videos, with all of the resources that are out there, need to make their own choice. Granted, with some input from the teacher, probably with some input from the parents as well, but they need to make their choice as to what challenge level is best for them. They do reflection on it. One of the things that we have up for you is a little bit of student reflection about how this process works for them.
I usually would start off with the lowest level, green, the standard level, and see if it really fits me. If it's too easy, then I move up a level. But keeping in mind that if it's too challenging, I won't be able to learn as much if it's too challenging, because then I'll be struggling in that level. So really, we want to learn at a point where there is challenge, but not so much to overwhelm you.
I look at all the homework and I see, I start at the green, I see, do I understand the greens? And if I understand all the concepts in the greens, then I go to the blue level and I see, do I understand all the blue level assignments? And if I do, then I go to the black.
Hi, I'm Jayashree Jackson, and I teach grade 7 math. How can you support your child? Well, I have had 2 kids who went through this program. In fact, my second child is in 8th grade, and I often have these questions. How much do I have? What kind of questions do I ask? Well, speak to your child. The best thing is to have conversations. And rather than asking them, what level are you working on? Why are you not doing the blue level? Or have you tried the black level? Ask them how do they feel about the unit. Do they feel strong about the reading concepts? How strong do they feel? Is it looking like it's easy? A lot of answers will come from them, which will kind of inform you, are they comfortable where they are? And if they're really comfortable, then those questions can come in, like, would you like a challenge? Your child might say, yes, I'm already challenging myself at a blue level. How do you feel? And these kind of ongoing conversations will actually reveal more to you than just asking them, what color are you working on? Remind your child to look at all the resources. The situation is a little bit different at home because in class they have other people to work with, they have teacher, a lot of stuff going on in class. They feel a lot more confident when they are trying out something more challenging. The situation may be a little bit different at home. They're by themselves and they're stuck. In that case, the best thing you can do is ask them, like, do you have all your notes with you? Do you have the Moodle page open? What else do you need? What did you learn in class? What can help you? So those kind of questions will really actually you're helping them to help themselves. So rather than saying, why are you stuck? Why are you struggling? Encourage your child to use learning dispositions. We talked about, I think Ali talked about those learning dispositions, and I think we're all doing that. Maybe you don't use these words. For example, like your child is trying out glue, and say they come across a word reciprocal and they're stuck. This is too difficult a problem. I don't know how to do it. So you could ask them, where are you stuck? Are you stuck with the language, or are you stuck with the skill? Or why are you not being able to proceed? So your child will say, I don't understand what this word reciprocal is. Well, the option is you could give the meaning of the word reciprocal if you do know it. But if you don't know, you could suggest to them, where do you think you can find? And that's where a little bit of resourcefulness, like look into a textbook, check the textbook and see if you can find the word reciprocal. Do you remember you might have learned this word in 6th grade? It's those kind of cues that actually help the child. And sure enough, they figure out, reciprocal, this is what it means. And you have actually helped your child pass a hurdle without like completely, helping them to, solve the problem. Monitor their struggle. Now this is the important part. If you see your child is trying out a different level, not a green level, and spending like hours doing a couple of problems, or she's taken, an hour and a half to solve 3 problems, then you could start asking the questions, why is this happening? And a good question would be, do you feel confident about the green concepts? That kind of question should always be there. If you don't feel confident, why don't you look at the board notes and go back to the green, make sure your green is completely in place and you feel really confident about it. And then let's look at the blue. And let's find out where is the struggle. Is it the concept? Is it the language? Do you think you can, go back to class and encourage them to come and see the teacher next day? If the struggle is quite a bit, it should not continue. So I would advise you to just encourage them, go and see your teacher. Maybe you need a little one-on-one time with your teacher, and let's see how it goes. And then maybe a couple of days later, you can come back and ask them, how do you feel about it now? Are you working at the same level, or are you trying out a different level? Because our kids are really amazing with their choices. And I give the example of my own child actually. The other day, he's just in 8th grade. I think there's just 2 classes in, and he comes running to us. My husband and I are watching TV, and he comes in and says, I'm trying blue level problems today. I'm going to do the blue level homework. So my husband, no, you've always been doing green. Continue with green, don't stress yourself, do green. So he tells his dad, don't worry dad, if it's very difficult, I'll go back to the green. So he said it with so much confidence that he knew that it is at the back of his mind. And probably 6th graders don't have this confidence, but we have to build that confidence. And if you have these conversations about the 3 different levels, rather than it being green to black, being about how much are you challenging yourself? How are you finding the concepts? Would you like to, learn more about this? Do you feel like you want to know more, you want to try out different? Or if you feel, you're in a play and you're feeling like you're really bogged down with other things and you want to do the green level, support your child.
What if you're in the opposite problem, not a struggler, but wants to take it easy?
Yeah, definitely. You have that. What's the reason behind it? A child will not just say, I don't want to do it. There must be definitely something behind it. And check how well is he doing his green. Because like Kim said, the green level is not an easy level. So if the child is doing really well at the green level, there is definitely some struggle in it. And that struggle is good struggle. Maybe the child is not ready to move on. So what you could do is ask him to take baby steps. And that's what we do. We ask them to just
We're going to be just on the computer. So we want students to understand this possible. So just want to share.
So I do what I do at home. I do them to use the laptop on a weekday. So yeah, definitely I get it. Yes, these are conversations that we have them, and the teacher will definitely notice if the child is constantly doing really, really well. So they kind of ask them to take baby steps. Why don't you try the board problem today? We don't tell them that, no, you go to the blue. That is too much for them. So we tell them, okay, try the board level problems today. And then encourage them when they do really well. And when they see success, they want to go more. That's it. Yes. Actually, yes.
But there's one more video.
There's one more video. Could you finish the video?
At the green level is not easy. It's the standard level for the grade. It's not like blue level is average. Green is average and blue and black are advanced levels.
Suggest that the parents understand that the students are supposed to work at the level that they're most comfortable.
Well, they should know that it's a really good idea, but that they shouldn't push their kids to do levels that are too hard for them, because it's not fair to kids. Because you have kids that do the black and the blue, they can't do it, but their parents force them to do it, and it's not fair on the students. So, yeah, kids should be able to choose like their own level in that, because they can't slack off, because the grade level is standard. It's not easy. It's the levels they had before.